Extreme homes are everywhere, in every country, on every continent, and we search the world to find them. Today, we go to Argentina to check out a house that's not nearly as seaworthy as it looks. Then we'll be in Chicago to see how an old orphanage fosters one woman's artistic visions. Hi, I'm Cheryl Hamada. Welcome to this episode of Extreme Homes, the program that brings you inside some of the world's most original houses. We begin in Argentina, in the small harbor town of St. Nicholas, where a seafaring family set anchor for good.
We live in the downtown area of St. Nicholas, very close to the port of the Paraná River.
Hemos nacido en el río.
I was born on this river. The river is everything to me. It makes me remember everything that happened in my childhood. I cannot be far from it.
Oscar Cafiero comes from a family of seamen.
Casado, 69 años.
I'm 69 years old, and I'm retired from the Argentine Navy. I was in charge of the logistic department at St. Nicholas Naval Base. We oversaw the use of rivers and lakes in the country.
About 30 years ago, long before he was retired, Oscar and his wife Maria began to build a very special house, one that would please this lifelong seaman.
I've spent all my life in boats, and I knew that when I got old, I would still want to live on board.
So Oscar built a model of his dream boat and showed it to his wife Maria, who's an artist.
Since he knows all about boats, he showed me what he wanted, and then I designed it.
Although Maria is not an architect, she wasn't daunted by the task.
Other people do it. Why not me?
But Maria didn't have to know much about seaworthiness to design their houseboat. That's because this one was never intended to go in the water.
I built it myself, along with Maria and some people I occasionally hired. We did have an architect finalize the plans for legal reasons. It took many years. I don't know how much it cost to do it. A lot of concrete, a lot of bricks, and it isn't finished yet.
But it's been attracting attention from the start.
Some people didn't like it at the beginning because they couldn't tell what it was going to be. They wondered why the windows were so small. But then, as it started to take shape, people really started to enjoy it.
Since they built that new church up on the hill, lots of people come to this town, and they all pass by our house and take lots of photographs. Sometimes they even applaud.
The couple painted the boat themselves, following a color scheme designed by Maria. It flies the flags of Argentina and the province of Buenos Aires.
We painted with the national colors, which are blue, light blue and white, and then some details in red and orange. On the garage, we painted the flags of the International Signal Code for the Navy, in symbols that spell out Irupe, the name of the house.
Irupe means Queen of the Flowers. Appropriately enough, it's a river plant. As on any boat, the name is displayed proudly. The Cafieros also decorated the prow of the boat.
The moon symbolizes our dreams, and the anchor represents the passion for the Navy. The brushes refer to my love of painting, and the lyres for our love of poetry.
In fact, Oscar even wrote a sonnet about his landlocked boat. We'll hear some of that and go on board when Extreme Homes continues. Welcome back to Extreme Homes. We're in St. Nicholas, Argentina, with Oscar and Maria Cafiero in their riverside ark. Now, living in a houseboat isn't all that unusual. What's odd about the Cafieros' home is that it was built merely to look like a boat and would sink like a stone if it ever tried to set sail. But it's been quite a comfortable dwelling for this couple and their family. The lower deck, or first floor, is the main living area.
Downstairs, it's about 58 feet long by about 13 feet wide.
Son 4 metros.
Of course, at the prow, things get pretty narrow, but stem to stern, it's a cozy space, ringed with porthole windows and filled with nautical knickknacks, as well as family mementos.
When my brother died, I received the propeller from his boat. And I have the lanterns that used to hang in my father's boat as well. I have other items, but Maria doesn't want them out because they're just more to clean.
The kitchen, or galley, is also on this level. There's also a bathroom and a laundry space. A small bedroom is down here too. From the living room, a ship's ladder leads to the upper decks. Up these steep stairs, there are 3 more cabin-like rooms. Though the Cafieros have never calculated the exact square footage, the boat has been spacious enough for the 2 of them and their 4 children who grew up on the boat.
There's plenty of room between the 4 bedrooms and the large living room. There's always room for more people around.
Up another ship's ladder is the top deck.
Upstairs is like the pilot house of a boat. There's a small room there where I like to do my writing. We also have a barbecue on the outside deck up there.
Some 30 years after beginning this project, the Cafieros are still happy here and would never dream of selling it.
No, porque estamos cómodos.
No, we're very comfortable here.
Estamos cómodos acá.
But there is one serious drawback. Located just 600 feet from the river, when it floods, the water comes right up to the first deck. At times, the garage gets turned into a marina, and they can paddle right into the house.
The river is okay when it's on its natural course. But sometimes when it rains a lot upstream in Brazil, it comes up, and it can be devastating. In 1982, the river was in the house for 8 months. We had to take everything upstairs and live up there. And we had to be very careful because the river brings in a lot of snakes also. But you know, it's beautiful to live by the river. With all its plants and animals, it makes it worth it. Sometimes, though, I do wish we'd built a real boat.
But Oscar clearly has no regrets. A lifelong poet, he wrote a poem about Irupe as well.
I shape your shell, colossal and profound. I made your region and raised your mast. Your sleeping compass will mark my course. Run aground to your fate, my great ship Irupe.
It seems that the right extreme home can be truly inspiring. That's the case with our next one, too. A huge dwelling owned by an artist in Chicago that takes up nearly half a city block. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Extreme Homes. Next up is a trip to the Wicker Park neighborhood of Chicago to see how a huge old dwelling has let an artist and sculptor take her passion for collecting to extremes.
I found this building in 1987. I was married at the time, and my husband and I were looking for a large building. And it was owned by the Polish Army veterans. And we walked around and looked at it, and it was a series of small rooms, but the building has good bones. And we came back the next day, and I went to go make a bid, and I looked out the window, and they were torching a car outside because the neighborhood was gang-ridden. And I looked at the owner, and I said, well, I'm going to lower my offer. So we were able to get it for a very cheap price. Wicker Park is a very diverse neighborhood. It had started out as a Jewish neighborhood. This building originally had been a Jewish Hebrew school, and then it had been a Jewish orphanage, but then the neighborhood started to change, became more Polish Catholic. and they sold it to the Polish Army veterans in 1934 for $10. And then the neighborhood started to become more Latino. And then after it became Latino, then the artists moved in, and now it's become very gentrified. 13 years ago when I moved here, pretty much my family thought I was insane. They were very worried for me. I went from owning a 1,100 square foot house to owning a 21,000 square foot building on 6 city lots. And it's 3 stories, 7,000 square foot per floor, and it was a marginal neighborhood. And now I'm a genius. I had foresight. Down the street you could have bought a 3-flat for $35,000 at that time. So now they're selling for $400,000 per floor. The building has a granite base, and then it has a limestone on top of that, and then it's brick. The outside was okay. I tuck pointed, I put in a new roof. I have 5 different heating systems that I put in.
And lots of windows.
I put in 150 windows. The front and the side of the building I kept original because that's the public sides. On the courtyard, they're all new windows and all new window openings.
Several years after moving in, Mary decided to devote herself to art rather than architecture. In addition to doing her own work as a sculptor, Mary now runs a large gallery on the 2nd floor of the old orphanage and Army vets' home. Last year, she added a sculpture garden to the enterprise.
It is an extension of the gallery. I do show a lot of large-scale sculpture, and I wanted to create a place to show where people could have modern sculpture in a more real garden setting. I planted 38 trees. I have 4 ponds, a stream.
One piece in the garden, titled Re-Memories, has special meaning for Mary.
It's a large steel and concrete piece that is about my mother. When she died 4 years ago, I took her everyday objects and cast them in concrete and put them in a cage that has 84 openings. She was 84 when she died.
Two other permanent sculptures of a sort flank the entrance. They seem out of place here, but they're not really.
There are 2 cannons in front of the building that were from the Polish Army veterans who I bought the building from. And they're trophies. One is a World War I and one is a World War II. They're both howitzers. I do get a lot of the Polish people coming back, or I'll be out working in the yard and they'll stop and talk to me and tell me about the parties that they had here.
Mary has parties here too, which is not surprising considering she's got 10,000 square feet of living space. When we return, we'll see how she transformed that space into what she describes as a stage set. For questions or comments, please write to Extreme Homes, care of HGTV, Box 50970, Knoxville, Tennessee 37950. Be sure to include the episode number and your daytime phone number. Welcome back to Extreme Homes. We're in Chicago's Wicker Park neighborhood with gallery owner and sculptor Mary O'Shaughnessy. She lives and works in an incredibly large building with an interesting past. Built in 1903, it's been a Hebrew school, an orphanage, and a Polish Army Veteran Center. Today, it's the home that Mary shares with her fiancé, and it's the ample stage for Mary's imagination. An original oak-railed staircase leads to the 2nd floor. Mary installed her gallery in what was once a dormitory. She shows several artists' works simultaneously in museum-like spaces.
I have one area that's a little hallway there that is original to the building. It has the original paint on it. Photographers love it. The wood floors are maple. They're original to the building.
A set of painted doors leads to a very grand room with an almost theatrical quality. At 3,000 square feet, it was big enough for Mary's most ambitious plans.
This is where I have parties. The room that we're in now was the Commander's Bar, Commander Bogaiski's bar. And where my bar is where the stairs originally went up. This is not a room that I live in all the time, so I wanted to use bold colors. I put in all the woodwork. It was done by a woodworker here in Chicago. It's mahogany wood. It's based on a Baroque library in England. If we ever have music that comes in here, the vaulted ceiling is for sound. There's a bathroom that's off of the library, which is a two-chamber bathroom. And when we finished it and I closed the door the first time, it reminded me of a tomb. So I had an artist paint it. I said, Aida's tomb. And for 18 months, he painted it. I wanted to have a room where people could feel clubby. I always say it's a men's club for an Irish woman.
A pair of unassuming-looking curtains screens the entrance to more of Mary's private living space. A sweeping circular staircase of Mary's design leads right into the center of what was once a vast ballroom. It's still vast, obviously. There's some 7,000 square feet of living space up here with 15-foot ceilings. And Mary knew just how she wanted to treat the expanse.
I have a degree in set design as my undergraduate. And then I have a degree in interior design and I have a degree in architecture. And I'm a sculptor. And the way we design the upstairs is to create spaces for vistas. Being a Midwesterner, there's nothing more beautiful to me than the long vistas of the prairie. So I painted the walls to look like the fields of cut corn. And as you're driving along the prairie, you have clumps of trees or houses, which are groupings that are beautiful. And that's what I use those walls for, to create vignettes.
In this section, sculpture, her own and pieces she's bought, has more of a presence than furniture. Even some of what looks like seating is really art. There is a massive dining table, though. It seats 20 and sports a hodgepodge of chairs. Mary's collections cover a wide range of interests, from the anthropological to the highly personal and even quirky.
I am an inveterate collector. I started collecting when I was 7 years old, and I do like to collect strange things. With not a lot of furniture, I can move things around and create little altars or vignettes and change them. So it's a stage set more than anything.
Another staircase separates this former ballroom space from a cozier, more livable area. An immense kitchen with open storage and commercial appliances is defined by an ocean of wavy soffits and a terrazzo floor. Beyond is a comfortable living room delineated by large-scale sofas. An exercise alcove, as well as a semi-private master bedroom and bath, are also on this floor.
We just had a wonderful bed made by a local designer here in Chicago. And it's on wheels, so we can move it around if we want to. We have a 13.5-foot square window with stained glass in it that in the winter and through the spring, when the sun comes up, the stained glass hits the walls and goes across it in the most lovely way.
The bathroom is a sculpture itself, with richly painted curving walls, a swooping glass block shower, and a striking copper sink. There's a touch of whimsy here, though. Renovating and remodeling this giant building has been an ongoing project with many more improvements planned. It's consumed a lot of energy, time, and money, and it represents a way of living that takes some adjusting to. For example, though she's installed 5 separate heating zones, it's still a challenge to keep the place warm in winter.
People know when they come to visit me in the wintertime to bring a sweater.
And negotiating the expanse physically can be exhausting.
We do a lot of yelling down the stairwells and a lot of walking up and down stairs. I always say that I'm ready to climb Machu Picchu.
But for a lifelong collector of things small and large, it's an amazing gift to live in a space like this.
I like to have an open mind when I'm out looking. And when I see something, I know I can fit it in.
With room to spare. I hope you enjoyed the places we visited today. They're just proof that home sweet home can mean many different things all over the world. So join us next time at Extreme Homes, where the only thing you can expect is the unexpected.